Alright everybody, so in this video we're going to be looking at the most recent breakout in the crypto markets and what I believe is the start of a major wave 3. Alright, so stick around. Okay, so a lot has happened in the past 24 to 48 hours, since our last video. We were looking, or at least I was expecting, for a further retracement in the price, at least with most of the cryptocurrencies anyway, and that did not happen. So really big surprise. As you guys know, I've been looking at the Elliott wave theory, following the crypto journey so far, and just starting off with Bitcoin really quick. We got it boxed in with our trend lines. Then we have our wave pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is, if we go way out, so this entire move would have been wave 1 of 5 in a larger wave 2. So this was our initial wave 1 up, wave 2 down, and we're starting wave 3 on this major scale. But within that wave 3, we have 5 subwaves. So this would have been subwave 1. And if we go back in, the recent pullback or consolidation was subwave 2. So wave 1 is an impulse move up, wave 2 is a retracement, and then wave 3 is our next impulse move up of a total of, again, 5. Now the interesting thing is wave 1, and what had me going, kind of took me by surprise, is the wave 1 pullback, which is essentially the wave 2, is usually the steepest pullback of all the waves. Now nothing is written in stone, the market does what it wants to do, but generally speaking, the wave 2 pullback is usually the steepest of all the pullbacks. Okay, and as you could see, we really didn't have much of a pullback to talk about. We had about, in Bitcoin, it was only not even 10%. Some of the other cryptos was around 20, but Bitcoin wasn't even 10%. And if you pull up a fib, usually you can expect anywhere from, would have been 15%, 20%, even in some cases it wouldn't have been unreasonable to get like a 30% pullback, but we didn't even get 10% with Bitcoin. And I think that just goes to show like how much momentum is in this next cycle, in this next bull run, to where price, yes, it did get, stagnated in this area. It did get a lot of trouble around the 50,000 range. It did not hit 51,000. So it definitely, met a lot of resistance around the 50,000 range, but it didn't really drop that far. And so, if these counts are correct, I did expect this C wave correction to extend a bit more, maybe down to this 200 moving average on the 4-hour. But, it hit this support, broke this trend line, and started pushing right on through. And so you're going to see this with most of the other ones. As you could see, we had our main trend line. I boxed it in with 2, but we had our main trend line running up on the support side. and it broke it. So our A wave correction broke that trend line. We had our B wave false breakout to the upside, and then the C wave kicked in. And, as I stated, the C wave was very short lived. But if we throw on, just a quick trend line from the top of wave 5, right here across, here we see that that's been broken. All right. And on the daily, I know it's really messy when you zoom out, but on the daily, we're sitting right above, that 21 simple moving average. We didn't even have any kind of a real retracement to the 50, so we're sitting right up here on that 21 moving average. And if we compare that to, the previous move, that's kind of how it was too, except on this wave 1 retracement, we did get a pull back to the 50 on the daily moving average, and also very close on this third wave, and again on the wave 5, pull back to the 50 moving average on the daily, but we're still really far away, and that's what was kind of scary, because you're expecting a pullback and prices just kind of sitting there very indecisive, and so it's still a bit, it's still a bit fishy. But I think when you look at the market as a whole, if we shift from Bitcoin over to Ethereum today, this is the daily candle for today, has skyrocketed, and from the previous highs, it shot up 14%, and so recent new highs, and it just broke out and started moving. Bitcoin, on its way up, you would count this as wave 1. This didn't even do a confirmed 5 waves on the move up, whereas Bitcoin, we can see the multiple retracements as it made its way up. Ethereum did not really do that. It just kind of moved up, consolidated, and then shot straight up again. So, because of what's going on with Ethereum, confirming the momentum in the market, if it wasn't for this, Bitcoin and these other cryptos, it would still be very fishy. But Ethereum is one of the coins that's confirming, there's so much momentum in the market. We're not really seeing deep pullbacks, just some sideways consolidation, and prices just pushing higher. Litecoin, really quick, we have the same thing. We have the sideways consolidation. If we zoom in, it's really messy. If we zoom in again, we see the trend line break, and price is now making its way back up to the previous highs where we had this double top-ish formation. And so we'll look for it to make its way up and break the previous highs at about just under 192. And then moving on, from the major coins to go down to the guys like Ethereum Classic and Dogecoin. There was this wedge formation, this descending wedge. I don't have the bottom line drawn up, but if you use this highlighted area of support, you could see that price consolidated into the wedge, and then it broke out, breaking this trend line. Nice clean trend line, and price broke out and started making its way higher. So we see a trend of price breaking out, from the consolidation and pushing higher straight across the board. Dogecoin again, with the same thing. Again, I know it's messy, but we have our highs right here with the trend line, and Dogecoin breaking out, going back for those previous highs around the 35-cent range. So this is, I mean, investing is risky, but a lot of people will take this as a buy opportunity um, as we start to move up. Now it gets interesting as we go to Shiba. So I have a fib already pulled up, but I'll move it and put it back. So Shiba Inu did not break through its previous consolidation range. When price came down from the highs and started consolidating, Shiba did not break through that range. And Shiba is one of the only cryptos that actually kind of made a serious, well, it did, it made a serious retracement, actually down to, right around that 7-8, sorry, right on the money of that 786, which is expected in a wave, wave one with wave two retracement. Like this kind of move, while people don't like it, while a lot of people get scared, it is expected. And if you take a look at Ethereum Classic, one of the things that had me questioning the wave count was this right here. We had this push up from the low, from the extreme lows, and it came down right at the 786 before started making this move up. There were a few other factors that disqualified this from being wave one. For example, if that was wave one, this whole move would have been wave two, but the price retraced into the move of wave one, so that would have disqualified this motion. But again, nothing is guaranteed, so maybe that is indeed the true wave one, and this was the wave two, breaking the rules of the Elliott wave theory. But all I know is that it made its way up and it's breaking that trend line and pushing higher. So Shiba right now has started to pivot as well. Broke this trend line, nice clean trend line, broke that right above the 50 moving average on the 4-hour, and it just needs to get through this level of resistance right here to start pushing up. Some good gains to be had on Shiba, roughly around 30% to the previous highs, and Akita the same thing. Akita came down not entirely to the 786, but it broke right through the golden zone. Get that out of the way. And is pushing, again, broke this inner trend line, is pushing through, kind of consolidating right here at this level of resistance. Made it over the 4-hour 50 moving average, so that's a good sign. And it's sitting above it, got quite a few candles closed above it, so hopefully we'll see this break up and get moving. And this has some really nice gains, right around, if you go from the low to the previous high, you're looking at about 115%. And even conservatively, if you were to get in now, back to around these highs, you're looking at about 40, anywhere from 40 to 60%. And that's just at the previous highs. Now, the interesting thing about these third waves, because again, using Akita as an example, wave one, pullback wave two, wave three is the most aggressive usually out of all the waves. So take for example Ethereum. This next move that just started will be greater than this, sometimes even twice. So the wave three momentum, the wave 3 impulse wave out of the 5 waves can sometimes be twice the size of wave 1. So that's the exciting part, and I think what's so exciting is that if wave 2, if we barely got any pullback, so if for Ethereum this indeed was its wave 2, just strictly sideways movement, didn't get any real pullback, the market had that much strength in it. Imagine what wave 3, if wave 3 generally speaking is already a very powerful move, imagine how much momentum is going to be behind it, considering we barely got any pullback in the wave 2 retracement. So just moving down to some of the other coins real quick. I'll get this one out of the way. Again, we had the descending wedge. Nice clean break, price pushing up on XRP to previous highs. Cardano, when it made its B wave correction up, it never really came back down. It just went sideways. Broke this trend line, broke straight through. It was so close, it broke straight through the previous highs, and now pushing up into the $3 range. So again, Cardano is leading the race. I think Ethereum led the breakout, but Cardano, again, don't forget, is already past its previous all-time highs, and so it's in discovery zone. These are all new, never before seen levels for Cardano, whereas with Ethereum, it still has to get back to its previous highs of the highest was just under $4,400. So Ethereum is still catching up to Cardano, even though it led this breakout. Alright, so Cardano's still looking extremely strong. Has yet to even touch the 21 moving average on the daily. So nice break, nice solid engulfing candle, breaking through to new highs into that $3 range. XLM, Stellar, same thing, low, broke that trend line, pushing up. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up. I won't go into any of the other coins. I'll just, these all kind of are doing different things, but for the general crypto population that everybody's going to be looking at, all the major players, all the big names, we see the pattern. The trend line has broken. Very, very, very small retracement from the wave 1, and so I think it's safe to say that we've started that wave 3 move up. This wave is, typically speaking, going to have the most momentum out of all 5 waves, and so it's exciting to see what it does. Cardano is already in uncharted territory with all new highs. I believe that in this wave 3, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the rest of the cryptos should be pushing past their previous highs before we see another retracement, which would be the wave 4 pullback. So